Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is BaLLHaWK, and this is my Week 5 matchup in the PBAL, and this week we were going up against David, and this is going to be a post-commentary game, just because I'm still having a little bit of difficulties with my Elgato capture card. For some reason, it's just it doesn't get recognized by my PC, so while Elgato support is working on that, I'll just be uploading post-commentary like this, getting the footage from my opponent. So my team is on the left there. I decided to bring Rotom Frost, Starmie, Gengar, Piloswine, Zeraora, and Klefkis. And I'm still trying to get my footing with this team. I don't really like the way that it's kind of laid out right now. I think it's got some very exploitable holes. Mainly, the biggest glaring weakness being that I have absolutely no switch into a ground attack. So that's pretty spammable for my opponents. And it's been pretty difficult the last couple weeks. Still looking for our first win. Looking to get it this week, and I guess we'll just start with the footage, and I'll just go from there. As we watch my opponent pick his team, my main goal, I brought Screens Starmie and Scarf Rotom Frost, and I had Weakness Policy set up Klefkis. And my whole goal here was to be able to try and catch him off guard with Klefkis and punch enough holes in his team where Zeraora, Rotom, and Piloswine and Gengar could just kind of, go 1 for 1 or 2 for 1 and just kind of clean him up towards the end of the game. So I decided that I was going to lead Starmie and just get my screens up right away. I don't remember, this battle happened a little bit ago, and I don't have the paste for it anymore. And I don't remember if I had both screens on Starmie or if it was just Reflect. But the fact that he led Cinderace, I wasn't really scared of him doing any kind of damage to Starmie, so first things first was I was going to set up my Reflect, and I did have Flip Turn on Starmie. But this worked out really nicely because he decided to go out to his Hitmonlee here. And the normal gem Hitmonlee was actually really nice. I didn't anticipate normal gem to proc the Unburden with Fake Out. It's a little bit of a gamble on their part because I do have Gengar and I brought it. But, they went for it this next turn, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I took my hat off to David for bringing that tech. That was pretty sweet. So yeah, I totally didn't see this coming. So, but at this point, I'm really just Starmie's done its job. I planned on getting Klefkis in there pretty early. So either way, whether or not Starmie just goes down here and gives me the free switch in, or if I get the flip turn out to get Klefkis in after the Unburden proc there, I just really wanted to get the free switch into Klefkis here. So, and I think the Hitmonlee was the perfect thing to bring it in here. Behind Reflect with a Iron Defense, effectively being +3, his Earthquake is doing nothing to Klefkis, and it's going to proc the Weakness Policy for us here in this next turn. So the beginning of this game could not have gone any better. This was exactly what I was hoping for, what I was trying to set up, and I was getting ready to show off the keys. So right here, I'm kind of sticking my chest out a little bit, like, yeah, we got the Weakness Policy. And Klefkis ready to go to work. At this point, I fully anticipated just like setting up and winning 5-0. Like, that's, in my mind, that's what this should have been at this point, because after an Iron Defense here, he can't do anything to Klefkis. There's nothing he can do, and so I think I got a little bit hasty. And I think the better play here would have been to, instead of just going to kill Hitmonlee right away, what I should have done was I should have realized that, one, he's got a Deancey that has a decent special attack stat with Earth Power, and he's got the Swampert, which the special Swampert is a viable set. And as you see, he did bring this special set. So instead of taking out the Hitmonlee there, what I should have done was decided to set up Calm Minds to boost my special defense along with my physical defense and make Klefkis just as unbreakable sweeping machine. But that was an oversight on my part. I totally just completely forgot about the special set being a thing in this battle, so I decided to forego the Calm Minds. I thought I had already won, essentially, and I was counting my chickens before they hatched. And that's one of the things that, like, I think that the Wi-Fi battle scene that's one of the challenges or learning curves that I have to get used to here. Excuse me. I'm used to playing at Showdown where I've got, you know, a few minutes to kind of collect my thoughts and decide what I want to do and think out of all the possible scenarios. And had I been afforded that luxury, as I just go for the iron defense, assuming that he's going to be physical pert. Had I had the time to think this out, I probably would have come across, you know, the potential of this being a special Swampert, and opted for the Calm Minds to mitigate any type of, you know, just completely losing here. But at this point, there's no way, even if I go for a Calm Mind, there's no way I'm living another Earth Power, so I have to just go for damage and go for the Sword Power. Really kind of took the wind out of my sails here in this game because, like, the Klefkis set did what it was supposed to, like, or it was set up the way it was meant to, and just one misplay on my part, I feel like, is what really snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Really is the way I feel about it. You know, totally respect to David. He brought a very, very solid pert, a Swampert, and it did what it needed to do. But had I played that correctly, I feel like, you know, this would have been a foregone conclusion at this point, aside from crits or other RNG. So at this point, I'm just kind of gathering my thoughts, trying to think of some way to just not, like, auto lose this now. But having Klefki, the main hole puncher for this game, really without this Swampert, Klefki just ran right through the rest of his team, barring a critical hit. But really, without that big hole puncher, I'm kind of in a tough spot now because I don't really have much to really damage everything that he has left. Like, he's got Diancie, which is just super thick. He's got Vikavolt. Cinderace is a major problem now. And not to mention Zygarde in the back. So I'm really in a tough spot right now, but I'm pretty sure I just go for the Shadow Ball and opt to take the kill here because, you know, I need to keep the offensive pressure up. I can't just give him a free switch in or try to switch out and get cute and give him something else because, like I mentioned before, my team just doesn't have a ground attack switch in, so Earth Power is really free against me. So we just went for the Shadow Ball and got the kill. Or lack thereof, I forgot about that. He lived on 2% or 2 HP. That was really unfortunate. I don't know exactly what the roll was on that. I assume it was a roll. I believe we discussed it at the end of the game, but I don't remember for sure off the top of my head. But yeah, that not killing and then taking all of that damage was really unfortunate. Kind of took the wind out of the sails of what I wanted this Gengar to do. This Gengar was a substitute Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam set. So ideally what I would have been able to do later in the game was set up a substitute, get a Nasty Plot off. You know, if it were staring down the Diancie or the Zygarde, and I would have been able to, you know, at least maybe salvage or recover from losing Klefki as early as it did. And yeah, as I mentioned, now Cinderace is just a major problem, and there really isn't anything that my team can do to really threaten it. So really, it's just, I feel like at this point in the game, it's really kind of just prolonging the inevitable. But you know, it is what it is. I brought out the Piloswine, just trying to eat a Pyro Ball, because I thought that was probably the safest thing for him to go for, but he reveals Sucker Punch, so that was a really good switch out. Got a little bit of momentum back there, and we were able to go for some damage ourselves. I forget what we went for. Did we go for the Escort? No, we just set up Stealth Rocks, because that was the freest move there. Didn't want to go for the Earthquake quite yet, just because Vikavolt does have the Levitate ability, so wouldn't have really touched it at all. One thing that always surprises me about Vikavolt is just how hard it hits with it. I think it's at like 145 special attack. He goes for the Energy Ball and it does a lot of damage. Just going for the safe damage here. Just trying to chip it down so, even if Piloswine can't take it, maybe Rotom or Gengar can when they come back out. But it's clearly a 2-hit KO. And again, I'm feeling like I'm down enough where I can't really sit there and flex and go for an Earthquake. So I decided to switch out to my Rotom Frost, where it should be able to take an Energy Ball fairly easily. I say fairly easily, but that's still over 30%. 3-hit KO still, so. But here we're able to just go for the Blizzard. One thing I forgot to mention that is, at this point, the game really isn't over yet. Just because Rotom Frost actually is really threatening to my opponent. The fact that I have a Scarf on it is better. It sucks that they did a good job of reserving their Zygarde. The fact that they had 2 ground types made it kind of tough for me to just spam the Volt Switch or Thunderbolt like I wanted to. And just, what this ultimately comes down to is being able to get Chip on the Cinderace towards the end here. Just a little bit more. I needed to get some amount of Chip on there so that maybe a Rotom Frost Blizzard could clean it up. If I were to get lucky and not miss a single one there at the end. I think it still did like 34 to 45% or something, or like 30 to 37% to Cinderace. Just something really good. But I think Gengar was the most expendable at that point. It really wasn't going to be able to do anything else, especially after it revealed Sucker Punch. And I didn't have enough HP to get a substitute up at all. And the fact that it's just faster than Gengar, so. But we bring the Piloswine out, and right now it's a free Earthquake. His Pyro Ball can't kill me. The only thing that can kill me right now is a High Jump Kick, and he's already revealed Sucker Punch. If he brought High Jump Kick at this point, so be it. The game's already kind of done, if that was the case. But I think they opted to go for the Diancie here, which was probably the smartest play on their part. Diancie was the most expendable at this point. They definitely needed to keep the Zygarde because they needed to preserve a ground type so that I couldn't just spam Thunderbolt on Rotom. And then Piloswine is able to do a little bit of a subtle flex here and just claim the soul of the Diancie. Get some chip from its rocks. A good old Earthquake. Brings her down to 12%. Doesn't get the kill quite yet, but now she's in range of the Ice Shard. Reveals the Weakness Policy, which had that gone off earlier in the game, that would have been really scary. That's pretty cool. The Power Gem, Mystical Fire, and Explosion. That explosion would have... That thing would have done some damage. Oh, with the Trick Room too. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Trick Room kind of makes me think that Piloswine might have just naturally outsped Diancie, because if you're playing Trick Room and you see the Piloswine, you're definitely going to try to underspeed that, I think. Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet. For him, not for me. But at this point, Pyro Ball kind of just cleans up, I think. There really is anything that, I can't switch anything into the Pyro Ball, really. And Piloswine can live it. And here I'm just trying to figure out any way that I can get enough chip on this Cinderace so that Rotom Frost can clean up. Yeah, I think it's up to... I think it comes down to 0 Aura right now. I forget what I did. I can't remember if I went for the Plasma Fist or if I went Knockoff. Knockoff probably would have been the safer play. Brought out 0 Aura, and I think I had the Play Rough, Close Combat, Plasma Fist, and Knockoff this week. Yep, just go for the Knockoff, get some good damage. They go for the Pyro Ball, and this is the unfortunate part. Had they not gotten the burn there, I think I still win this game. But the thing is that the burn kind of put it so that I can't. I suppose I could have gone for the Plasma Fist here to get as much damage as possible, and even if they decided to switch into the Zygarde, Play Rough was still going to do a decent chunk. Hindsight, that's probably what I should have done, but the burn, I think, kind of put me into defeatist mode, and I think I kind of just, probably threw in the towel there. Not thinking clearly with the Klefki early game, and then the burn here. Both unfortunate things. The burn was more unfortunate. The Klefki was an error in my thought process there, but yeah, the burn was very unfortunate. Although, yeah, it didn't matter. I forgot about the Sucker Punch. Yeah, actually, okay, the burn really didn't matter. There's no way I would have switched into the Rotom there. There's no way. So at this point the game's done. Just one more Pyro Ball. I mean, had they missed, if they would have missed the Pyro Ball here, which is fairly likely. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. If they miss the Pyro Ball here and we don't miss a Blizzard, that's also a good game. I think we would have won that way as well had we not missed any Blizzards. But as you see, they nailed the Pyro Ball, and that's all she wrote. So this was by far the best output that I've had for this league so far. Getting closer, I think. I'm still trying to get the hang of the team. I'm not totally sure that I'm not gonna make any free agent moves or anything like that. I think there's just something missing, like just the fact that ground is so spammable against my team. I definitely need to find a way to shore that up, whether it's through trades or free agents. And then getting used to thinking quicker in between turns is something that I still need to get better at. It's definitely, I think I'm getting a little bit better. I think this week showing that I had this week is evident. But this is definitely something that's still kind of holding us back a little bit, and if we're able to get over that hump, we might start to see some better results here. But I think with this team I need to be continue to be creative, like with that Klefki stuff this week, to try to catch my opponents off guard. And I did a great job of getting the set in and set up, and I think it's going to take that every week with this team. I just don't see it having the bulk to switch in anything and have the longevity each week, or to be able to just get enough damage off. So, but hey, if you made it this far, thanks for tuning in. Go show the rest of the guys in the PBAL some love and check out their games, and I'll see you next week for week 6. Alright, thanks for tuning in. See ya.